Hi, Nicholas here. Welcome to the Akousunesis method. We're going to look at Creep by Radiohead. And we're going to talk a bit about, so we're going to learn what the song's doing in terms of the intervals over the chords. And there's only 4 chords, but they're interesting selection of chords. But we're also going to talk about singing and how you approach if you're going to start to learn to sing the song. So to be able to sing the song, you need to know the melody in your head. You'd be able to hear the melody a few times and just know the song, right, in your head. So let's come over to the YouTube channel, and I have Creep is song analysis number 19. So again, click the link, it takes you to Chordify, and have a listen to the song. So let's go into the chords and the lyrics. So let's just first look at the chord selection because it's quite interesting. And to pick a key for this piece is a little tricky because you have only 4 chords, and 2 of them are out of place in any key. So if you look, say, at the chords, but you've got to pick some reference, right? So you can see what it's doing coming out of key. So we've got G here. Let's have a look. And C. Well, we know G and C is in the key of C, right? So you could choose C. And in this particular case, I did choose C and just noted the 2 other chords which came out of key in reference to the key of C. And they happen to be B and C minor. Quite interesting B, if you look around the circle fifths, right? B is all the way on the bottom, right? Or almost. So it's far away from C, right? And if you play, however, there's something interesting between B and C. It's that B moving to C is a chromatic move, right? So they're using chromatics in this song to make the selection of chords work together, rather than just choosing a sequence within some key. Right? So we start off, let's have a look at the chords. The first thing, we start off with G, right? I guess then to B. Now B to C works very well because it's a completely chromatic move, just move every note up. And chromatics always work. They're always going to work, whenever they'll take you out of key. So a good one technique to go from one key to another is just a chromatic move. That's one method. And they're using that in this song. And we got C, and we got another chromatic move, but it's only on the 3rd. And a major to a minor is a very common technique. Just any major chord, make it a minor chord, will take you out of key to another key. So this is taking you from the key of C to here. To which key is this? Well, this is interesting because by just having one E flat and having the G up here makes it a very interesting choice, because it's not going to be in the key of B, right? It could be in the key of B flat, but we don't use B flat in this song. It could be the key of E flat, right? So E flat would be a closer choice, right? You could have chosen E flat and started to make these selection of chords do other things. You could put in G minor. You could do a lot with this. With these just 4 chords, you can add in other chords and make it a very interesting composition. But these are just beautiful, these selections of chords. Right, so 1, and straight to the 5, B with the 5 up the top. So we start with the 1, the first interval, then the 5th high, 5 high, right? The melody, right? The intervals of the melody. Then there's a 5 high. And there's a lot of 7th. They'll put a 7 in the song. They'll use a 7. That's the 7th sound. All right, so now we're going to work out what the song does. So we end on a C minor. Now, if you listen to it, he's got a very, I don't know, low voice. It's hard to pick. It was hard for me to pick at first. Oh, what's he singing? And I had to listen a couple of times. But then, yeah, could hear it. When you were here. Now, we're going to learn to sing. Now, you need to know the pitch of the song. So when we put the intervals here, right, it's creating a memory association so that we know we're going to stick to the same key also, or the same chords as he was the original song too. These are the same chords. So when you were here before, right? So it's a 6. If you listen to the minor, when you were here before. So, and it drops down, right? So it drops just before we do a change. That's pretty common too in songs, where just before you go into the new chord, you might drop down a semitone or a tone in this case. So C minor. When you were here before, couldn't look you in the eye. So it's staying a lot on the same note in this song. Couldn't look you in the eye. Now, when you're on the same note, what usually, when they stick with the same note, it's usually the words come a bit faster. You can fit a lot of words in. But sometimes it's nice to do some rocking if it works. Couldn't look you, but it doesn't work here. Right? With the style of the song and everything, it doesn't really work. So the 1 was a good choice. Couldn't look you in the eye. You're just So here, in the eye, you're just like that rocking works well there. You're just like, it needs that rocking there. So we're on the -7 now on the B. -7 is the A note, right? You're just like a. So going up a semitone or down to fill in for a syllable or a word is very common too. You're just like an angel. There's the major 7th. Angel. And it resolves down to the 5th on the C. Your skin makes me, rocking again, just rocking up. Your skin makes me cry. So what you got to do is you got to practice the tone of your voice to make sure you're in pitch. But because you're playing the note together with singing it at the same time, your ear will hit it. Your vocal will hit what you're hearing. Right? So it's very hard to sing flat when you you're singing as the same piano. Until you really know the song in your head, you don't have to follow every single note. And this one's good because you can just go, the note, you're not going to be clicking that so many times, you're just going to be saying it, right? So it starts C minor on. When you were here before, could look you in the eye. You're just... Now, to be able to get a bit more bass in your vocals, right? You just open your mouth more, just give more, have more air coming into your mouth, and you'll get more of that lower frequency in. Remember, when you're singing a note, you've got elements of a few frequencies, right? You got the harmonic, so you've got up here. You've also got the 5ths in there, and you also got 3rds in there too. I've got a section in if you go into my website under quick information, I should put something on singing, but I think if under intervals, I think it's under intervals, I've put it. Overtones, yeah, and I talk about overtones, right? So all these frequencies, when you're singing one note, you can have overtones in your mouth that develop, which are different frequencies. You can have a 3rd in there, 4ths and even 5ths. 4th and a 5th can all develop inside your mouth, right? So there's some good information on my website if you go through it, and it can, it can help you out. Anyway, let's get back to the song. So creep. So I'm going to talk a bit about singing in this one. Right? So you want to practice hearing what you're singing. So you're on that C minor, and this is the interval you're listening for. That's 6. When you were here before. So it's not just a single note you're singing. You're also listening for in reference to the bass note, right? The harmonizing note. So this is the harmonic rhythm. This is the harmonic melody of it, right? All reference. Right? So the interval 6. So when you were here, B, and it's coming down to the 5, B, and that 5 on the C minor, right? Because we're here, right? C minor, the 5th there, becomes the 1 before. Couldn't look you. So we're not going anywhere. We're staying on the same note. Couldn't look you in the eye. So it should be an easier one to sing, right? Because you're not doing too much movement. Couldn't look you in the eye. You're just, and then we're up here. You're just, sorry. So, and then we go up to the minor 7. So we're on the B. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. And you can just practice with the tone and take it slowly when you're singing it, and listen to the sound you're making. You'll get your throat and your muscles in your throat for this song in this key and all these chord arrangements here. It will learn. Your throat has a muscle memory too, and you'll come into pitch if you're playing the right note, the melody note. If you're playing the wrong one, you're not going to sing to the right pitch. You've got to play the right note and listen to it and take it slowly. Right. So here on these are the 7, for instance. You're just like It's going back up. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. And then we've got a 6 here. You flow like and that's coming down, and that works. You could have chosen a few different things. You flow like no, it works like that. You flow like a lot of the choices when they're writing and they're choosing the melody notes are going to work with the word too. The choice of note you choose, whether you rock or stay on the same note or even go up higher, right? It's going to work with the note, right? With the word, sorry, and the note are going to work, and it's all got to do with the opening in your mouth. So if you're saying the word like, you open your mouth a certain amount to make that L sound. Some words you open it up bigger, and if you open it up bigger, it means you can get more bass into the sound, into the word. If it's really small opening, it's going to be a bit harder. It's going to be harder to get the bass in. So it all works. That the choice of words and your mouth and the choice that you make can either work well or not work as well. You can always improve your vocals and adjust to whatever word to make it sound the best you can possibly make it. But it's good to know that if the word some words work better at a higher frequency and some work better a bit lower. And a lot of the times you will transpose your song that you're trying to and sing it in the best key to match. You should be able to adjust to any key adjustment, because even if it's a bit higher, you can always add the lower frequencies. Right, so it's all a matter of practicing and listening to what the sound you're making, and then just mucking around with the shape of your mouth, opening your mouth a bit more or closing it to get different sounds, to get higher frequencies. So with here, I could go, when you were here before. But doesn't my high frequencies don't sound as great? I prefer to get a bit more bass into it. It sounds a bit warmer. When you were here. So I'll try to when. So you're trying to say the word when, right? When. But your sort of mouth's a little closed. When were you here before? So it can be a bit harder. When you were here before. Gonna look, so that you can get some good air and flow in there. Look you in the eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You float like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep. So that works for me there, the But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell I'm doing here? I don't belong here. Now the reason I go slow is so I can listen to what the sound I'm singing, how I'm singing it, and I can adjust my vocals. And once I'm happy with the way I'm singing it, I just practice it just like that way, and then you'll get used to it. And it's a good idea not to change keys. If you got used to one key and you're really happy with it, not to just change keys and start singing in another key, although you will adjust. But your throat has got used to, singing that song in that key. So you have to redo the muscle memory a little bit. But you'll find you'll flow into it quite easily once you if you change a key. So this key I didn't change because it seems to work fine with my vocals. So again, now I don't care if it hurts. So we've got a 6 now. I don't care if it hurts. So you can see I'm coming down to the -5. Now in verse 1, did I come down to a -5? I didn't. Right? So if you look at the difference, I've stuck 66665 because it just seems to work. When you were here before. So when you were here before, right? Now I could have went when you were here, It doesn't work. It needs to be just stay there. When you were here before, right? But here on verse 2, it's I don't care if it hurts. They're two fast little words. Right? If it hurts. I don't care if it. And it just works coming down a bit more. I don't. So we're here. I don't care if it was. I want to have control. Want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to, and that works too, that rocking down to the -5. I want you to notice when I'm not around. Now, if you listen to the actual song, he might not go down to there. Or if it sounds good for you, it's very likely it's going to sound, it's the way they did it in the original song. But it might work better for someone else's vocals if they don't rock that. But it works well anyway here. So that -5, and it's still in key anyway, right? Because we're in the key. Well, actually, no, we're not. It comes out of key. If you think about, where is it? C minor. It part of the B, that F sharp and the F sharp and the D sharp is the B, right? So it works. That, including that note, will work because we've heard the B with that note. Right, so that's why it works. And it won't work like that. That won't sound right in the song. Right? So this -5 here we're talking about, and we include it here as well. Right there as well. Okay. We'll do that again. Listen. I don't care if it. I don't care if it works better if I put a bit more lower bass into it. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have Now that same note there, right, is the 7th in the G, control, and becomes the 5 in the B, right? So that's a bit of a special note, that one, for this song, right? I don't care if it hurts. Oh, wait, we see. I don't care if it hurts. I wanna have control. I wanna perfect. I like that. And it rises up to the -7 right there. I wanna perfect. And it comes back down. So it's a rocking again. Wanna perfect body. And then that major 7th now. Right? So major 7th. Body. I wanna perfect to the 6. Soul. And we're on the major 7th. Of C minor, major 7th. So that chord there is actually C minor major 7th, but I don't bother to put in the major 7th because it's part of the melody, right? And you don't want to complicate your chords if you don't need to. Right? So, but I'm right? So now that we're on C minor 5, but I'm so we're listening, right? We're going and we it doesn't work. But there's more of that note in this, what I'm doing. So when you're singing that note, there's elements of that. There's elements of there. There's also there's a fifth in there too. Elements of the fifth as well. Overtones. Right. It's amazing how your brain can just change the shape of your mouth to make that note. You just do it all subconsciously. It's just incredible, really, the way it works. Creep. So we're on C here. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. And that works well. The 1 on the B. Weirdo. Weirdo. So it's interesting. Weirdo. What the hell I'm doing here? I don't belong here. So I'm going slow and I'm looking at the words, and I'm working out, should I be higher with my vocal? Should I add more of the higher frequencies or should I add more of the lower frequencies? And it depends on your voice. All depends on your voice. And you can, it doesn't matter what key you're in, really. I mean, because a lot of the times if you're in a higher key and the melody's going a bit higher, it just means the lower harmonics you add are higher up, right? But they can fall in your range because this could be too low, right? Then that low frequency could fall into your range. And then you can put in that note easier than you can put, say, that note or down here, right? So sometimes lifting it up can help your bass, right? Lifting it a key higher. So that, you're going to reach a higher note up here. but it means that that lower note could fall into your range. So it's just a matter of mucking around with your voice and having fun with it and listening and taking it slow so you can adjust your voice to make it sound the best you could possibly make it sound. So this song, it's nothing that hard about it. I've got to actually, I haven't highlighted here where they've come out of key yet. I'll put that in. So the B, I usually highlight that. I've just started making the video. I don't even think I've finished the presentation, but I'll finish that off. So let's look at the bridge. Let's look at the bridge bit. So we're on the chorus here. Okay, so we're coming out on C minor here. Special, but I'm a creep. I'm a widow. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. Like that, long here. So that's major 7 to the 5. And then it goes on here, right? So we're looking here now. We're on C minor, and it's a 2-1, but it goes here. Ooh, ooh. Now this is difficult for me because it's a bit higher. So I'm gonna let's see what I can do with this, right? Ooh, 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 ooh. He's doing an ooh, right? Ooh, ooh. She. See, shall I put the she? Before I'm not going to get into falsetto because I'm not good at. Well, I haven't practiced much falsetto, so. She's running out. She's run the door. She's running out. She runs, 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 run. So all right, so you work out what you want to do with your vocals, right? So this ooh, so changing your voice. So I've put a lot of lower frequencies in, right? And then I want to start adding some higher frequencies. So long here, ooh, ooh. So this bit here, ooh, 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 ooh. So how will I do this? Ooh, ooh, ooh. She runs out, she runs out the. So we've got a lot of lower frequency going back in there. She runs out the door. She running out. She's running out. She run. Oh, run. All right, so I haven't practiced this section, so I've got to practice that and make that work with my vocals. So it is good to get something a bit higher because it's challenging for yourself, and then you can practice it. You know, practice what you're going to do there. You know, you're going to try to get those higher frequencies. She running out the door. So that B there, we're so here. The door, and then just rolls it down a bit. She running out. She run. Yeah. So I'm going to be working on this a bit more, and it looks like a lot of fun actually. Trying to get that, it's good to get a song that your vocals haven't done before, and it's challenging, and you can have a lot of fun with it. Just say to yourself, that you're going to improve. You just stick to it, and you will improve. As long as you're listening to your vocals, and you will improve and get better and better. I find singing, I love singing, and it's a good challenge. Just to develop your voice and get it better and better. So there's a lot of talk about singing in this one, which is a bit different. So have a go at this song. I've got it all here. Right? So, and I've broken it down. So have a look at the intervals and try taking it slowly and try singing to it. And try slow down and listen to what you're singing. Right? And then when you come to sing it and you're more relaxed and you're not concentrating too much, you'll find that you'll remember it easier and your voice will just flow. Right? Like if you went to karaoke or something, because you've been practicing it a lot, you'll be able to sing it easily, and you'll be in pitch and you'll be singing the right notes because you've practiced it and you can play it and you can sing it. All right, I'll see you next song analysis video. Bye. God, did this go on for 57 minutes? That's long. Yeah.